So what does it take to successfully launch your book and get reviews and get great sales and lower your BSR ranking? Well, to be honest, it does take a fair bit of effort. But the steps don't need to be challenging or difficult. It just needs to be an action plan that you can easily implement and follow through with. And as I've mentioned in a previous video, between 90 to 95% of indie authors don't have any sort of launch plan prepared at all. So what they're effectively doing is creating a great book, hopefully, and then not having a process to let people know about it. And I keep banging on about it, but if people don't know about your book, how are they ever going to find it to purchase it? Yes, there are the occasional situations where people will create the book. They might have a niche that isn't very competitive, and they've got the right keywords that they might use. They launch their book and they start to generate sales. Now, there may not be a huge influx of sales, and that could be part of the problem, because those first 30 days on Amazon are critical, because that's where the algorithm will pick up your book and know whether it's something that they should continue to help lift and promote and put on page one, or whether they just let it drop and die a slow death. So what you do need to do is focus specifically on those first the first week, the first 7 days. So when I launch a book, I split it into the first 4 weeks. So I have the first 7 days, really focus on that. What can I do to get it into the hands of more customers, get my keywords ranking, and then I start to plan out to the next 7 days. So the first 14 days. What social media channels can I get it onto? How can I promote that book a little bit more? But it is a case of doing something, not nothing. Any kind of promotion is going to be good promotion if you can get that book into the hands of more customers. Now, one of the biggest challenges you will find is getting the initial first few sales happening, because if you don't have social proof being reviews, then people might be a little less likely to want to purchase your book. So one of the keys is to have a launch team. If you can build a launch team, you may have an existing subscriber base. If you don't, then you need to work a bit harder to develop those reviews, but it's something you can do. And it's something that you just need to ensure that you create some sort of item within your book that if someone downloads an extra item or a checklist or something that is of value to the customer, then you can then organize them to be part of a mailing list. Now, I use ConvertKit, which is my subscriber, my email software platform that I use, and that's been really effective. So I've been able to accumulate a few thousand subscribers now on that email list. So if I have a new course, for example, I'll let those subscribers know about that new course. Now, I don't necessarily have the same mailing list for my books, because people that are on my mailing list may be to do with my courses rather than my books, and I do have a launch team for my books. Therefore, it accelerates the process and accelerates the opportunity to get more sales. So I'll generally have my launch team, and then the book goes live. I'll provide that book for free to my reviewers in return for an unbiased review. And I clearly must state it's an unbiased review. They can provide whatever the review they want to in return for getting that book. And that meets the Amazon KDP terms of service. So you can look into that yourself. What you also need to do is try and get that accelerated sales approach with Amazon advertising. And so I've got my launch plan that I implement for my Amazon ads, where I create campaigns based on keywords and different categories. So I put that into action, because I need that to get some traction. And also it's the A+ content that you might have that you can put with your books. So that just gives customers another bit of a look inside of what your book's really about, and that does help. The key consideration though, even if you have the best launch strategy in the world, it is ensuring that you have a great cover and a great description. And of course, the manuscript needs to be great, but if you're not getting the attention of the customer straight away with the cover and attracting with the description, then no launch plan, no matter how good it is ever going to attract more customers if you can't get those elements right. So make sure you focus on those components of your launch too. It might require you to seek out feedback from other or friends and family or other authors. Just do it. And I know it's hard to get that initial feedback because I was the same. I was quite precious about my book covers, but it wasn't until I started showing other people that I got some true feedback about what I could do to improve it. Because I'm not the one that's buying my own book. It's other people, other customers. So you need to get their feedback. And it might take a few extra weeks to get that feedback, but it's going to be really important for you to do. Now, when I helped my friend launch her book, which is on the thumbnail of this video, I was able to help her get it down to about 15,000 as a BSR ranking and get a #1 new release. Now that book ranking has jumped around a lot. The best it's got to is about 9,000 BSR. Today, it's sitting at about 24,000 BSR. So it does jump around a lot. And that's what you can expect as well when you're first in your initial stages of your book launch. So that book was launched on August 22nd, 2022. And now it's getting to the early part of November. And that ranking is jumping around still. It's still settling. It's still finding its place within Amazon KDP of where it's going to fit. So the reviews are up to about 15 reviews at the moment. So that's still tracking well. It's interesting because that book is selling really well and generating some really good sales. And it's up against other books that might have 1,000 reviews, and this one's got 15. So it just demonstrates that you don't need a whole heap of reviews for a book to do well. It just needs to be quality reviews and having that combination of a great book cover, great description, getting that social proof, and there are some components obviously that you need to bring into the mix to make that launch happen. So in summary, and I've also got a resource that you can download for free in the links, and I've also got my new course about how to successfully launch your book onto Amazon KDP. That's on Skillshare, Udemy, and Thinkific. So just check out the links below. But in summary, you need to ensure that you can get an accelerated start. And what I mean by that is getting some sales on the board early. You need to get your social proof happening nice and early so that the sales people have more confidence in buying your book. You need to have your Amazon ads running, and you also need to try and promote it on other social platforms like Instagram or Facebook. There might be other ways that you can promote your book. You might even want to create a YouTube video about your book. But you do need to have a plan. You need to have a structured plan that you go through, and you invest too much time creating your books for the books not to be seen and not to be selling. And it's sad when I see that happening. So that's why I really wanted to create this course to help you to launch your books properly. And that's why I wanted to help my friend to launch her book successfully. And now I feel like I've got that proof to show that these strategies work. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Didn't want to provide a video today that had a set of different slides that going through the different steps. You can look at other videos or maybe my previous video about that. I just want to have a frank discussion about your launch strategy and getting that right, because it's just so important for you to do it. And if there's some steps in my videos that help you, well, that's great. There might be other content that can help you as well. But you please make sure you have a launch strategy, a simple steps that is going to help you to generate those sales and reviews from the first 7 days up to day 30, and then you can have a longer term plan after that. Don't just be someone that creates book after book after book, putting them up hoping they're going to sell, because you might see they either sell a handful of books or none at all, and I don't want that to happen for you. So hopefully that helps. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to providing more content in a future video.